Hey, Chris Liepe here with my 3 rules for protecting your voice while you're singing.
Won't you leave me alone? Can't you see that I'm free? I wanna drive till I'm tired and sing till I'm
A lot of times we get so into the moment when we're recording or when we're singing live that we kind of forget that our voice works way better when we work with it instead of starting to work against it or push it to do things. And a lot of times when we get to that mode or in that mindset of like, all right, I'm just going to push it until I get it, we end up causing vocal fatigue, discouragement, and then ultimately we can damage our voice if we do that too much. So these 3 rules for protecting your voice are going to help you to get the best results out of your voice while also being able to really do what you want to do with it. And if these rules resonate with you and are helpful to you, you'll really enjoy my free course, 7 highly effective vocal exercises that won't annoy your neighbors. Because I give you 7 great ways that are discreet that will help you discover more about how to engage with your voice on a deeper level so that when you go to apply real singing and doing things that count, you'll have all these sensations that you've practiced and you can employ them and call them out of your memory and work with your voice instead of against it. And we're going to be referencing the mini song that you saw and heard me perform at the beginning of this video to bring out my 3 rules. So here we go. Rule number 1, give yourself lots of dynamic flexibility. Do not always assume that you need to be at a single intensity level, and use your creativity to really dig in and then artistically draw back. This means using different resonances in different ways. This means phrasing your melodies in ways that you can creatively use dynamics and use different registers in a way that both save your voice and give yourself bandwidth to then really hit it hard in the next phrase and create interest for the listener. Here's the example.
Won't you leave me alone? Can't you see that I'm free?
Okay, so the first line, won't you leave me alone? And then, can't you see that I'm free? This is both an artistic and a pacing strategic move on my part. Trying to hit that whole line or the whole song or whatever. It gives me a chance to be interesting. But because of what's coming next, where I start belting out a high D5 in mixed voice with some false chord engagement, it's an aggressive thing, it gives me a chance to kind of calm before the storm. I'm not hitting my vocal cords hard the whole time. This is really important, and there's lots of creative ways that you can do this and implement this with your own melodies, even when you're covering songs. Rule number 2, which ties into rule number 1, and I'll explain why in a minute, is this. Plan your high points both dynamically and pitch-wise and challenge level-wise very, very intentionally. You don't need to have a whole song of singing at your limits the whole time. Yes, we've heard lots of vocalists do this on recordings. Yes, it's possible, but it's not the healthiest thing for your voice, nor do I feel it's the most interesting. And this ties back into dynamics, right? We're using dynamics to both save our voice, but also to be creative with what our voice can do. But in this number 2 rule, we are working up to the vocal climax of our song, of our line, of whatever section we're doing. We can have multiple ones like this. But remember, the line just before the one I'm about to play, I was in head voice. I was not intense. I was giving myself a little break, And there was some really neat things going on. Then we get into this. Okay? Now, I have planned this intentionally, not just from a dynamics standpoint, but I've planned it from a vowels standpoint. I am singing the word drive, which is very open. Draw! And I want to hit that high note. I want it to be gritty.
I wanna drive!
And throaty, and a nice aggressive mixed sound. I know that my voice works best on an open vowel. I'm able to get that mixed false chord engagement thing happening at the same time, and it's easiest for me on that ah instead of an e or an ooh.
I wanna drive till I'm tired.
And another huge thing that I think about when I'm planning these climactic moments is this. I am not leaving that high thing out there naked. I knew going into this that I was going to add a harmony. Mentally, that helped me to let my voice do what it does high, ultimately because it would have a buddy. There's a huge mental freedom in approaching some of these higher, more challenging things, knowing that you're going to have a buddy. You're going to have a helpful vocalist, who might be you, adding to the sonic palette of what's going on. So, listening together
I wanna drive
versus
I wanna drive.
the note turned out great, but because I knew I was going to go add to it, I was able to create a confident note, just like I wanted to create.
I wanna drive.
Now here's all together.
I wanna drive till I'm tired and sing till I'm lonely.
Rule number 3, when you're planning your melodies, when you're planning your improvisation, let your voice land. By mentally giving ourselves a place to land after we've done something that's a bit more acrobatic with our voice, we're able to look forward to that. There's something that happens that's really powerful when we do this, and you can actually hear it in my voice when I'm doing this little mini song here. Listen. If I solo this, notice how I sort of get grittier towards the end of the note and then fall into that comfortable note.
Drive till I'm tired.
The drive till I'm drive till I am tired. There's something so comforting in that. I'm not trying to go all around in a higher register, which I'll do in some situations when I'm singing. But in this case, I'm able to freely throw my voice up there to a wonderful quality, high, aggressive sounding note because I've bookended it. I've bookended it with a soft sort of oasis beforehand, and then I've bookended it with a nice, confident chest note. I can't stress this enough that this is both creative and cool sounding, and it's strategic because I know my voice's limitations, and I know what I'm good at, and I know what I struggle with, and by having that mentality and by being in tune with these aspects of my voice, I can let my voice happen. I can work with it, with what it's good at, while still challenging myself and create a really neat, dynamic performance. And yes, doing this in the studio is great practice, but having this mentality live is, I think, even more beneficial. These are all related, But if we think about these 3 ways of working when we're singing, our voice is going to have more longevity and more expressiveness. So let your voice land. I did this very intentionally in this melody here.
Tired and sing to me.
We have the calm before the storm. We have the calm after the storm. We've created this arc. This is possible to do all the time in every song with every style. I hope you've enjoyed my 3 rules for protecting your voice while singing. Again, if you want more exercises like this, more mindsets to apply for your singing and exploring what your voice can do, be sure to click the link below and join my 7 highly effective vocal exercises that won't annoy your neighbors. It's free. We'll see you there.